Hello and welcome back to the eSports Report. I'm of course Benson, and today we've already had a look at Season 3 recap. We've had a top 5 plays as well, but this is where it gets interesting. I know a lot of you guys in the chat really excited for this segment. It's the Roster Mania segment, and if any of you are unsure what Roster Mania means, it's that time of year where all the teams decide that, hey, we want to switch and swap and make some big changes to their rosters. I'll be looking at the stream chat as well, and I'll be trying to gauge what you guys think as well. I'll be giving you some of my predictions, and we'll take a look at yesterday's free agents. You may have seen us tweet out this graphic. It was pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. Shout out to MLG Rab. You can see the confirmed free agents as of yesterday was Parasite, Aches, Dido, Neslo, Crim, Burnsoff, and Tipsy. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting because we'll throw over to today's free agents, and you can see a bit of a difference. Parasite, Neslo, Killer, Burns, Tipsy, and Study. So the first thing to note is Study is now a free agent. He was actually released by Denial, and that was a big shock to me individually. I'm not sure how you guys feel about that. Killer, of course, he's a free agent as well. But then the big thing is Aches, Dido, and Crimsix, unconfirmed free agents. Now, it's strange because Aches tweeted out yesterday saying it was just all a big troll. Obviously, these guys have flown out to ESWC as well, so we have to take that into consideration. But Crimsix, you know, he changed his Twitter name, which is pretty difficult to do, especially when you're at that level, because you can imagine as soon as Crim changes that, someone else is going to grab EG Crimsix, and then he's going to have to go through whatever he needs to do to get that Twitter name back. So, for me, I don't know. I think Aches is trolling about the troll, if you will. I think these guys still are potential free agents. We saw as well yesterday, Aches actually tweeted saying how he was forming Impact with Killer Miracles, and everyone was like, what's going on? Is this true? Is this real life? But that turned out to ultimately be another troll as well. And then yesterday's Twitter, if you were awake last night, Twitter got a little bit interesting. So lots of letters being tweeted, people thinking it was potential, names of who was going to be in the roster. It got really, really confusing. So a lot of people were asking, can you guys make something which makes our life easier? Well, we did. That's exactly what we did, actually. We'll throw over to our awesome graphic. Now, just take your time to really just have a look at this. It's the Roster Mania graphic from MLG. And you can see at the bottom, of course, the dates, and on the left-hand side, the team names. And you can see all the different players which are now free agents. The big news, though, of course, is Rise. Looney was posted as a free agent on October 28th and was immediately picked up by TK. TK released Neslo. And then EG, the 3 unconfirmed players, of course, Dido, Crim, Aches. And it's worth mentioning, really, TP should be on that list because we don't really know what's going on. We haven't really heard anything. Optic Nation, they released Killer. Curse released both Burnsoff and Tipsy. Parasite is a free agent as well. He was released off FaZe and Study from Denial. So the big question is, where are all these free agents going to go? Because we now have this big pool of free agents and not really much intel. A lot of people are saying how we're expecting Impact to reform. Now, if that's the case, you have to think Karma has to leave FaZe for that to happen. So a lot of eyes are really on Karma. What decisions are he going to make? I mean, he has a lot on his plate. Really, he really does to try and think about this. And as well, you have to be thinking who's going to be good at Advanced Warfare. Killer's already posted free agents. So immediately Reddit say, oh, well, Killer and Miracles, they've been the duo for so long. Surely Miracles is going to follow Killer wherever he goes. I want to say yes. I want to say he will. I really think, those two really are a very strong duo. And then, of course, those two being a free agent would immediately mean Parasite. And then it basically comes down to Karma. But if we don't hear anything from Miracles, I don't think that's a bad thing either because Optic Nation are in quite a nice position now. They're LF1. Now, what does that mean? BigTimer. How does he fit into this puzzle? A couple of months ago, he tweeted saying he would love to get back playing intercompetitive Call of Duty if Advanced Warfare was fun and he enjoyed playing it. A lot of people know he's focused now full-time on other things. So, I don't know, Big T. I don't know. I would love to personally see him play again. But then how does that work? Because I don't think Big T would necessarily want to play with Optic Nation. Now, yesterday, before the Optic Plays AW stream, a lot of people were saying how, yeah, Clay's probably going to make the move, go over to Optic Nation, bring on Big T. Not anymore. No way. After watching Clay play yesterday, I mean, the dude was an animal. We'll get onto that later on. As I mentioned, we'll be taking a more in-depth look at Advanced Warfare after we do the Roster Mania segment. But so many options now for me. Does Proofy potentially move over to Optic Nation? Him and Embo's really good friends. That, of course, opens up the spot. Would fill out Optic Nation and Optic Gaming Squad. But we'll throw back to the line graph, and we'll just go over a couple more potential free agents and other players, as well as that. It's worth mentioning, does Rambo potentially come back and play? Load of things to really consider. But for me, Study. We'll start at the top. Where does Study go? It's a big question for him because TK is a potentially Optic Nation if he wanted to. Curse, they have some spots left. And this is the big thing. Advanced Warfare, as you may be not to tell if you did watch yesterday, it plays very much kind of in the hands of the Halo players. So I'm feeling you, players like Enable, players like Formal, those type of guys are going to be very, very talented. So that Curse squad of Machilla and Enable, you know, potentially Study could fit in and be very, very dominant. The only thing confirmed as of right now is, of course, that Looney has gone to TK. But Neslo, he's in a good position. And where's he going to go? It's worth mentioning that, you know, does Neslo, do they team up, rather? And as well, we've seen, you know, some tweets as well coming from Fear saying, are they going to start back up? So there's so many different things which could potentially happen coming into Advanced Warfare that it really is getting very, very exciting. And in all honesty, the next couple of days on Twitter is going to be just absolutely unreal. And I think there could be more roster changes as well to ensue. I mean, TK, they could potentially drop more players. You know, who knows what's going to happen? Only TK know at this point. But for me, the big thing to really note is FaZe and also Optic Gaming. They're the two teams that I'm really looking at very, very closely because I think they could be the start of everything. If Karma leaves, that leaves FaZe looking for two and potentially means that we could see the old Impact team back together once again. And keep your eyes out as well on EG's Twitter because I'm curious to finally put an end to this rumor. Is it actually unconfirmed? Is it confirmed? Are they free agents? Are they not free agents? Because why would Krim change his Twitter tag? That doesn't really make much sense to me. We talked to Methods about it yesterday. Methods was pretty certain that they were, in fact, free agents, which kind of makes more sense when you think about it, because I just can't see Krim changing his Twitter tag for no reason. I know it sounds such a strange thing, but it is such a hassle to change for him that I really don't see it worth it. As well, yesterday, Neslo went on a follow spree from FaZe accounts. Is it potentially going to be FaZe Neslo? Maybe. I think that team could be pretty good, not gonna lie, could be pretty good. And I believe Parasite actually followed the Noble owner as well. That was something else which I had written down in my notes. So is it potentially going to be Noble.impact? The guys on Reddit have been so active. Shout out to the Reddit thread. If you don't check out Reddit, you definitely should. The Call of Duty COD competitive subreddit is absolutely fantastic. So many sources of information. People so quick on guising, by the way, or guisoing, however you want to pronounce it. I just say screenshotting, but people so quick on that. And I'm curious to know, what is the chat's prediction? You know, what are you guys thinking is going to happen in Roster Mania? Because there's a lot of stuff going around. Some stuff we can't actually announce as of yet, but there's definitely going to be some big shocks, I feel, going into Advanced Warfare. Some of you guys have seen how it plays. If you haven't, do not worry. We have you covered. We have some Advanced Warfare footage to show later on, as I said. But for now, the confirmed free agents, we'll go back to today's free agents card. We'll just throw you that up one more time so you can see today's free agents. Parasite, Neslo, Burns, Tipsy, Killer, and Study. They are the guaranteed confirmed free agents. You have 6 FAs and unconfirmed free agents at the bottom there, Aches, Dido, and Krim. Personally, I'm thinking Dido could go back to that FaZe team. A lot of people saying Optic Crimsix in the chat. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I really don't know. That it's a possibility, but then you have to ask yourselves, you know, it would only ever be on Nation. I couldn't see it happening on Optic Gaming. I don't see how that would work. But for me, as I mentioned before, the big thing to keep your eyes out at home during Roster Mania is Karma's Twitter. What is Karma going to do? He is the key to so much. The 2-time world champion, everyone wants to be on his team going into Advanced Warfare. That's just a fact. It's the way it is. It really is. And as well as that, Optic Gaming and Optic Nation. If we see Optic Nation pick up one, potentially people have spoken about Spacely. If he leaves from Most Wanted, that would leave them LF1. But if Spacely did join Optic Nation, then what does Miracles do? Does Miracles follow his duo? Does he stay? There's a lot to really think about for Miracles because he wants to play with Killer, of course. But at the same time, you know, being a part of the Optic organization, he's said himself that it's the best organization he's been a part of. So he really does have a lot of decisions to make as well. And then, again, all eyes on BigTimer. Is BigTimer going to make a return? I really, really hope he does. But in all honesty, I'm not too sure. But for one last time, we'll throw up our awesome line graphic, just so if you are just tuning in, you can have a quick look. A lot of you guys giving love to Rambo Ray as well. I'd love to see him playing. But one last time, of course, the announced free agent is Study. He was released. Oh, it's such a shame to see him be released. That seemed like a very good team, but for them to release Study, one of the best players on that team, they must have somebody in mind. That is 100%. Parasite, of course, was released from FaZe. Tipsy and Burns released from Team Curse. Optic Nation, they released Killer. We're still unconfirmed as to whether Dido Aches and Krim have actually been released from EG, but we're trying to get official word on that as soon as possible. TK, they released Neslo, and of course Rise, they released Looney, and he went immediately the day after to TK. So a lot of answers still to be asked, or to be answered. A lot of questions still to be answered, I should say. And hopefully over the next few days, we will get some confirmation on some of them. But one thing's for sure, guys, I think roster Mania is going to last at least a couple of weeks. I can't see anything really being set in stone for a while, but do keep your eyes out on Twitter and, of course, the subreddit threads, all of those guys. Absolutely awesome people everywhere. The community is just awesome, and I can't wait for Advanced Warfare. Speaking of Advanced Warfare, coming up later on in the show, we're going to go into some in-depth analysis, of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, going into maybe how Codcaster works.